Hello, and welcome to the Mindbusters podcast, the podcast in which we discuss worldly issues and themes. Today we have a special guest. Say hello to Sam Lawson. So, Sam, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, boy.
Okay, that's great. Today's podcast is going to be about the topic of violence. As you know, violence is a huge worldly issue that is still affecting our world today. How do you feel about violence, Sam?
I think violence is very bad.
Right. To me, violence is just an uncontrollable, destructive state of mind fueled by uncontrollable emotions. Now tell me, have you ever gotten into a fight?
Yeah.
How did it start?
Different views on things and a disagreement.
Exactly, someone said something stupid or did something stupid that either offended you or pissed you off and caused you to use violence to hurt someone, right?
Yep.
When you entered this violent state of mind, what did you do?
I didn't really think, I just acted.
Did you punch the other kid or something?
No, obviously, yeah.
Okay, after you fought, what were the consequences of using such violence?
My parents got mad and we got mad at each other and we're no longer friends.
Exactly, there are always going to be consequences for our actions, whether they be good or bad. An example of a consequence could be something like life, death, fear, trouble, or even just pure satisfaction. An example of the use of violence is in Romeo and Juliet, Act 3, Scene 1, lines 118 to 125. In this part of the book, Romeo loses control of his emotions of anger and anger and Tybalt kills Mercutio. This is what he said: "Either thou or I or both must go with him." They fight. Tybalt falls and dies. What Romeo said basically is that since Tybalt killed Mercutio, Romeo will fight Tybalt, and one of them or both of them will die with Mercutio. This is an example of how Romeo used violence as he lost control of the thought of vengeance and killed Tybalt, his brother-in-law. Another example of the use of violence was in the Graveyard Book. If you never read the Graveyard Book, it is basically about a boy named Bod. His family was murdered when he was a baby, and somehow he managed to escape to a graveyard and was raised by ghosts, and was pretty much a really creepy child. Anyways, when Bod figures out his parents were murdered by a man named Jack, he lost control of his emotions, as he was overwhelmed with the thought of revenge. In chapter 7, page 216, Bod says, "Why didn't us just kill him?" said Bod fiercely. "He should have just killed him then." At this point, Bod was really angry and wanted revenge, as he would keep asking, "Why didn't Silas just kill him?" And eventually he seeks his revenge throughout the rest of the book and gets rid of all the Jacks. Now Sam, tell me, what were the consequences for their actions, for Romeo and for Bod?
For Romeo, he died, and he got banished from Verona, so that's a bad thing, and Bod no longer had Scarlett as a friend.
Do you think the violence helped in any way?
Yes, it did.
Like how? Like in the Graveyard Book, for example.
Well, Bod would never have defeated the Jacks if he didn't use violence.
And he would have constantly been on a hunt. In a way, yes, violence can be a good thing, but when used improperly like nowadays, it can end horrifically, right?
Yeah.
Nowadays, there is a well-known terrorist group out there known as ISIS. And what they're doing is absolutely horrific. They're using violence to murder innocent people and cause more violence. They're killing innocent people to scare us and make us believe that they are the ones in control. Now, if you look on the other side of things and back in time, it was America's fault to begin with by invading the Middle East, starting all these wars in the first place and causing all these terrorist groups to form and causing destruction. Now the Middle East is slowly becoming a bloodbath. The only way we can achieve eternal peace is by stopping all the wars and violence. As like I said before, violence is an uncontrollable, destructive state of mind fueled by uncontrollable emotions to cause damage throughout our world. Before I end this, is there anything you would like to say, Sam?
I like your Yeezys, they're fresh.
That concludes our Mindbusters podcast today. And kids, remember, violence solves nothing.